Picture India, the 1300s. The Deccan Plateau is like a pot of boiling water, bubbling with change. The Delhi Sultanate, the big power, is getting weaker and new kingdoms are popping up everywhere. In this messy situation, a new strong kingdom appears, the Bahamani Sultanate. They loved Persian culture and became a major force. In 1347, they rebelled against the mean Tughlaq rulers and started their own sultanate. The leader, Alauddin Hasan Gangu, was a Turkish officer with Afghan roots. He brought all the different groups in the Deccan together, fighting for freedom. He became king, calling himself Alauddin Hasan Bahaman Shah, a name that went down in history. The name Bahamani might come from Brahman, maybe because he knew a Hindu holy man before. The name became a symbol of fighting back and big dreams. Alauddin Hasan was smart and organized. He quickly took control of a lot of land, including parts of today's Maharashtra, Karnataka, and Telangana. He built a strong base for his new kingdom. The kings who came after him, driven by ambition and strong religious feelings, kept expanding their Bahamani lands. The Bahamanis weren't just new rulers, they changed everything. They became a powerful force in the Deccan, challenging the old ways and starting a new era where regions could rule themselves. This new kingdom, with its Persian beginnings and Deccan home, was about to leave a big mark on India's history. The Bahamani times were full of fighting, with big wins and tough losses. They wanted more land and power, so they often fought their neighbors, especially the Hindu Vijayanagara Empire in the south. These fights, often long and brutal, changed who was in charge in the Deccan for hundreds of years. One big fight, the Battle of Talikota in 1565, was a huge turning point. The Deccan Sultanates teamed up against Vijayanagara and crushed them, completely changing who had the power in the area. But the Bahamanis weren't just fighters. They loved art, buildings, and books, creating a lively mix of Persian, Arabic, and Indian culture. They built amazing mosques, tombs, and palaces, many still standing today. The Jama Masjid in Gulbarga, their first capital, shows how great their buildings were. It's simple but beautiful, with a huge dome inspired by Persian designs, but with a local touch. It became their signature style. The Bahamanis also brought in smart people, artists and musicians from all over the Islamic world, making the culture even richer. The Deccan became a place where different cultures mixed, a center of learning and art. Even with all the fighting, the Bahamani kings knew that art and culture were important. They spent a lot of money on art, architecture and literature, leaving behind amazing things that still amaze us today. They brought in talented artists, architects and scholars from the Islamic world, making the Deccan a center of different cultures. The amazing buildings they made are symbols of their power. The Gol Gumbaz in Bijapur, the tomb of Muhammad Adil Shah, shows how skilled their builders were. Its giant dome, one of the biggest in the world, is an engineering wonder. And the Whispering Gallery inside shows they knew about sound in a way that was way ahead of their time. Besides big buildings, miniature paintings became really popular. Artists made beautiful pictures on paper and cloth, often showing life in the palace, battles and religious stories. These paintings give us a peek into the rich Bahamani world and what kind of art they liked. The Bahamanis also helped the Deccani language grow. It's a mix of Persian, Arabic and local languages. Thanks to them, Deccani literature blossomed, adding to the richness of Indian languages. Even though they were successful and powerful at first, problems started early for the Bahamanis. Like many kingdoms, they had lots of fighting and drama inside the palace. The empire was huge and had many different groups of people, which was hard to control. Everyone wanted their own way, making it hard to stay united. On top of that, powerful nobles who had a lot of resources and loyal followers often rebelled against the kings. These nobles wanted their own little kingdoms and kept challenging the Sultan, making the government weak and causing chaos. By the late 1400s, the once mighty Bahamani Sultanate broke apart into 5 smaller kingdoms: Ahmadnagar, Bera, Bijapur, Golconda and Bidar. These new kingdoms kept some of the Bahamani culture and ways of ruling, but they often fought each other. This divided the Deccan even more and made it easier for the Mughals to take over later on. The end of the Bahamanis was the end of an era, but their influence remained. Their art, architecture and culture continued to inspire the new Deccan kingdoms and beyond. The mix of Islamic and Indian traditions they created became a permanent part of South India's culture, a reminder of their lasting legacy.